March run has come to an end. We'll put a bow on the Hurricanes hoop season.
Plus, Canes baseball is doubling down. We'll share the story about UM's dynamic duo on the diamond.
And later on, Hurricanes football kicks off spring practices next week. We'll hear from the Miami coaching staff.
All that and more.
SportsDesk starts
right now.
I'm Ed Reed, and you're watching SportsDesk.
Hi, I'm Jim Kelly, former guy. You're watching SportsDesk.
What's up? I'm DJ Williams. Y'all watching SportsDesk.
Hello and welcome to SportsDesk. I'm Josh White.
And I'm Tommy Sullivan. Josh, March has officially arrived and basketball season is getting real interesting.
Tommy, it sure is, especially with Miami making noise in the AC tournament. They became the first ever 13 seed to make the quarterfinals.
Josh, it had people buzzing in Coral Gables until UM met the Yellow Jackets. Let's take a look at the highlights from yesterday's game. Miami facing off against the 4th seed Georgia Tech. Early in the first half, Nasir Brooks goes up and says no to that shot. Then on the offensive end, getting it done as he catches that alley-oop for the slam. Then later in the first half, Lonnie Walker slashing and getting this easy two. Miami keeping it a very close game. And then later on in the first half, Dangok up and gets the and one opportunity. Miami another chance to tie this game right here. Miami keeping it close against the top-ranked Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Isaiah Wong on the other side. And he loses that ball right there, and it turns into an easy two for the Georgia Tech offense. Miami trying to stay in this. Cam McGusty gets a three with 1:30 left, and then comes back and shoots another three with 30 seconds left. Miami trying to keep it close as they had the ball down on their end of the court, but some confusion caused an end to this game as Georgia Tech would get the ball and send it over for the game-clinching easy two. Miami would end up losing this one by a score of 70-66 as their season comes to an official end.
Canes men's and women's basketball won't be calling Greensboro home anytime soon. With both teams leaving North Carolina with without an ACC tournament title, their seasons have come to an end. But what does that mean for the conference as a whole? Let's check in with our Hurricane Hangtime crew for more. Guys?
We've got another edition of Hurricane Hang Time for you today, along with Cal Freeman and Sydney Boyle. I'm your host, Zach Letson. A wild week in hoops, so let's break it all down. We'll start with the Hurricanes men's basketball team. The Hurricanes able to go on a run here in the ACC tournament this week. Miami knocked off number 12 Pittsburgh on Tuesday before pulling off a stunning upset of 5th-seeded Clemson the day after. Cal, how did the Canes get it done?
Zach, the Hurricanes did two things in the ACC tournament they failed to do in the regular season. That is adjust defensively and close out games late. In the first round, Miami held Justin Champagnie, one of the top players in the ACC, to just 4 makes from the field. In the second round, Clemson started the day extremely well from 3, shooting 8 of 11 from downtown in the first half, but the Hurricanes limited them to under 35% shooting in the second half, able to come from behind and win. Now, closing out games late is something the Hurricanes were terrible at in the regular season. They lost so many games within the last couple of seconds, including Clemson, North Carolina, and both Virginia Tech games. But in this tournament, all 3 games came down to the last minute. The Hurricanes were able to win in 2 of them, and that gives them some serious momentum going into next year.
Well, certainly a run to be proud of in the ACC tournament for Jim Larenaga's team. Meanwhile, for Canes women's hoops, their season in the books for the 2021 campaign. But in arguably one of the best conferences in college basketball, Sydney, there'll be plenty of teams still going dancing.
Yeah, that's right, Zach. The bracket is released on Monday, and we can expect to see about 6 or 7 ACC teams in the tournament. Now let's start with the most 2 obvious teams, Louisville and NC State. NC State won the ACC tournament, so that means that they're going to get an automatic bid, and Louisville has been consistently ranked throughout the year, even being number 1 at one point. Now another team we can all expect to see is Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech wins, and they win a lot actually, and they had a 7-game win streak at one point throughout the season. Now the last 2 teams that we can expect to see are Virginia Tech and Syracuse. They fare pretty well in ACC play, and Virginia Tech is actually one of the best offenses in the ACC. They have 2 of the top 3 scorers in the ACC, so we can expect them to fare pretty well in the tournament.
It's the most wonderful time of the year with March Madness just days away, but for now, that's all the time we have on Hurricane Hang Time. Guys, back to you.
Jim Larenaga's squad was bit by the injury bug this past season, with injuries piling up like dirty laundry. The Canes were juggling for answers. Reporter Cal Friedman has the story.
The 2021 Miami Hurricanes basketball team had faced a problem that few had ever seen:
losing half their scholarship players to injuries.
Earl Timberlake's injury I'd never heard of before. Sam Wardenberg's, I never heard of that before. Have you ever heard of a Liz Frank fracture? It's just not normal.
The Hurricanes' injuries stockpiled throughout the season, leaving just 6 scholarship players before Miami's trip to the ACC tournament. For some players, the added adversity helped.
Adversity brings everybody closer. So I definitely feel like us 6 on the court that we play with, we definitely have like a little special bond, and we play hard for each other.
With the smallest roster size in the ACC, the 13th seeded Hurricanes set to shock the world in Greensboro. But winning close games was something Miami wasn't comfortable with.
We played close so many times and came out on the short end.
Earlier this season, Miami lost 3 games by a combined 5 points. They were just the 2nd team in ACC history to do this, but it gave them a valuable lesson.
Sending the Hurricanes to another heartbreaking defeat.
It's always good to win, but losing these close games is what's going to get us over the hump. Knowing what we have to do, there's 2 minutes left, and the seriousness we have to play with, the intensity we have to play with.
The Hurricanes certainly brought the intensity, beating both Pittsburgh and Clemson by single digits. But what's kept the limited roster motivated? While the injuries were the problem in the regular season, they've been the solution in March.
The guys on the bench are cheering so loud for their teammates. I think our players are just playing off of that enthusiasm and energy that the guys on the bench are bringing.
And hearing them on the bench cheering us on through ups and downs, it really keeps our spirit in the right place. It keeps our energy in the right place. So without them on the sideline cheering, we probably wouldn't be here.
Despite the quarterfinals loss to Georgia Tech, the Canes put together a run that won't be forgotten. Reporting for UMTV's Sports Desk, I'm Cal Friedman.
Coming up on Sports Desk, one former UM baseball player changed up their scope on life. We'll tell you more when we come back.
Here are AARP top tips on caregiver preparedness during coronavirus. Form a team that can help with caregiving tasks. Take an inventory of essential supplies in your loved one's home. Make a list of the care recipient's medications. Schedule regular calls to fight isolation. Finally, take care of yourself too. Follow the Centers for Disease Control's guidelines for coronavirus safety. For more caregiving tips, go to aarp.org/caregiving.
Coming off their first ACC Series win of the year, the Canes baseball team returned to Marklight Field for a South Florida showdown against FAU. Let's check out the highlights from Tuesday's top 25 matchup at the Light. Pick things up in the 3rd inning with Miami down 1-0. Anthony Velar just doing the little things right, grounding this to the right side. That'll bring a run home for Miami to tie this game up at 1 apiece. Then the very next batter, Johandi Morales, doing exactly the same thing. A ground ball up the middle, that'll plate another for Miami to put them up 2-1. Now, it's Anthony Velar. It was his game. It's his show. Here he is, an RBI single ripped into right field. That puts Miami up by another as another run comes home, and Anthony Velar continues a 7-game hit streak, but no one could be outdone by Adrian del Castillo on this night. A 3-run bomba over the right field fence to give Miami 7 runs in that 4th inning as they went up 9-2. Then the freshman C.J. Kafis, why not? Let's add some insurance. They call it State Farm Insurance. As he goes over the fence, and the Canes would go up 10-2 in this game. They would tack on another run to win 11-2 as they advance to 6-4 on the season.
Miami baseball is off to an up-and-down start in 2021. With the offense struggling and pitching hiccups, the Canes are looking for an answer moving forward. Let's toss it to our Inside Pitch crew for more. Guys?
Thanks, guys. Welcome to Inside Pitch. I'm your host, Cassandra Garcia, alongside our analyst, Embrick Isles. And Brick, the Canes have been batting .241 as a team this season, but Anthony Velar and Johandi Morales have been on a tear recently. What's been behind their recent hot streak?
Those two guys have been absolutely on fire for this Miami order, and it has been starting to pay dividends. Let's start off with Anthony Velar. He started off the season versus Florida very poorly, but since that series has rebounded and has been one of the best hitters in this Miami lineup. He's done a great job at the top of the order in the 2 spot, setting the table for a lot of the different big bats in the lineup, and he has just been a key to this Miami offense over the past couple of weeks. Then let's go talk about the freshman Johandi Morales. He has been the best hitter all around all season for this Hurricanes lineup, and that says a lot for a guy who's just a freshman, having an OPS of over 1,000 and just a great bat who has power, contact, speed, everything you could want out of a baseball player. That's Johandi Morales.
And then we have Jake Garland, who just came off a stellar performance versus FAU. So with Daniel Fetterman struggling, do you think Garland's performance could propel him into one of the starting roles in the coming weeks?
Yeah, Jake Garland had a great performance versus FAU, very efficient, and has done a great job in the relief role, but also in that start against FAU. Let's look at his stats from that game. He just had a great performance versus FAU. Garland was doing a great job locating. It wasn't really a strikeout pitcher in that game, but it didn't matter. He got a lot of ground outs, got a lot of soft contact, and that's something you look for in one of your younger pitchers and a lot of pitchers who don't have the great electric stuff like Garland has. Then Fetterman has been a guy who's in the bullpen for the last couple of years. He's struggled so far, hasn't been able to locate a lot of his pitches, and when he gets into those hard counts of his, he throws a fastball down the middle, and hitters take advantage of that. So Fetterman's going to have to show this Sunday, as he got bumped from the Friday starter to the Sunday starter, that he has a lot left in the tank, because Jake Garland is coming, and he may have the opportunity to start if Fetterman continues to struggle for this Miami pitching staff. And they're going to have a guy in the number 3 spot that's going to pitch well if they're going to go deep this season.
Thanks, Embrick. That's all the time we have for this edition of Inside Pitch. Back to you guys.
Playing baseball at the U is like a brotherhood, and that could not be more true for 2 of the Hurricanes' stars. Reporter Wyatt Kopelman is live in studio with more.
Brotherly love is a beautiful thing, but imagine sharing that love on one of baseball's biggest stages. Adrian and Christian Del Castillo share that dream at Mark Light Field every day.
Ropes this one in the gap.
Though brothers Adrian and Christian Del Castillo take the diamond day in and day out at Mark Light Field, their ties with the Miami baseball program date way back.
I'm sure it's got to feel a lot more comfortable. These guys haven't played together. I think I read something since they were 12 years old, so it's got to be really special for the 2 of them.
But the 2 Miami natives haven't played at the same ballpark for their entire college careers. Christian transferred from Seton Hall to Miami in the fall of 2020, while Adrian has taken his older brother under his wing.
He's helped me a lot in what the program does, what they expect of each player. Everything that goes along those lines. It's very nice to have him here with me.
I could say for myself, I'm super excited. I just want to be out there, and I'm really happy we're playing in these crazy times, and just go out there and have fun.
Achieving a lifelong dream of batting in the same lineup for the first time since the age of 11, the 2 brothers have carried over their shared work ethic developed far before the start of their college playing days.
They have very high expectations for themselves, for sure. That's pretty obvious. It's a win-win-win because you got your experience factor, your work ethic factor, and then you also have the academic factor. The young ones will watch how it's done at that level and how serious you have to be in all 3 of those facets.
Such impressive performances, however, have come with the proper upbringings in order to succeed both on and off the field.
I guess why I'm not surprised is he's got the same last name as the other guy, and they come from the same parents, which I got to think have done a heck of a job with those 2 guys because they're both cut out of the same mix.
A top prospect in the upcoming MLB draft, Adrian is set to take his game to the next level, while Christian remains focused on pursuing a master's degree in biochemistry and molecular biology. Those different paths will never separate their shared love to play together for one of the nation's most storied programs nonetheless.
With both Adrian and Christian making a name for themselves in Coral Gables, the Del Castillo brothers are focused on one thing: bringing a national championship back to Coral Gables for the first time since 2001. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Wyatt Kopelman.
From the diamond to the operation table, one UM alum traded in his uniform for scrubs. Reporter Zach Letson caught up with this double cane.
Former University of Miami baseball player Daniel Briggy has had quite the journey from pitching in the College World Series to training to become a doctor. The 2015 grad made the team as a senior after being cut the 2 years prior.
And when I got cut, I knew that I wasn't good enough. I knew that I was the 36th best kid on that team. When I went senior year again, the thought process was, this is the last time in my life to really sell out and do something that is as fun for me as it can be.
Miami pitching coach J.D. Arteaga explained why the third time was the charm for Briggy.
There was a roster spot available, which, to be honest, last year if there was one, we probably would have stuck around. He's a kid that does everything you ask him to do, and great makeup, great character, and he's only going to make his teammates better.
Since graduating, Briggy stayed at Miami to attend medical school. It's something he wanted to do all along.
The medical school piece came before baseball. Miami was the best school I got into, and I was very happy to stay.
Briggy began his journey through Miami Med School 6 years ago. Since then, he's had stops at the Yale Business School and a unique opportunity to work and learn with Congresswoman Donna Shalala.
Had a chance to explore entrepreneurship, to explore policy work on Capitol Hill, to understand how organizations can be more efficient.
Baseball and medicine have been two completely different challenges for Briggy, but there's life lessons that have stuck with the aspiring doctor since leaving the Diamond.
From getting caught a couple times to making it to playing and to being on a very, very good team is confidence that I've carried with me for the last 5-6 years since that time, and I think fundamentally has changed the way that I live.
After graduating this spring, the next chapter for Briggy is residency, where he intends to work in rehab medicine. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Zach Letson.
Coming up on SportsDesk, UM Volleyball was set to resume action at the Knight Sports Complex tonight, but a spike in COVID-19 bumped their season back. We'll tell you more after the break. But it's time for some trivia. With Christian Del Castillo transferring to the U, Christian and Adrian are the first set of brothers to be teammates at Miami since what year? Is it A, 2000, B, 2008, C, 2015, or is it D, 2017? Find out the answer when we return.
Chance high five. All right.
When you adopt a shelter pet, you discover all the things that make them unique.
And your mother
I am totally a hot person. Right, guys? Thanks for being honest. They're a little bit of a lot of things, but they're all pure love. Adopt pure love at theshelterpetproject.org.
Ben, I was thinking. Congratulations. Welcome to the club, man.
Thanks. How's it going? Good, but I don't know how to tie it.
I think we're going to need that back, thank you.
What?
Yeah, I don't know about all that. You can't tie.
No, just go.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back.
Dad!
You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Welcome back. If you guessed B, you are correct. Adrian and Christian Del Castillo are the first set of brothers to be teammates at Miami since Carlos and David Gutierrez in 2008. Carlos and David played 3 years together in Coral Gables.
The clock struck 12 for the Cardiac Canes in the ACC tournament. With their Cinderella run coming up short, Hurricanes football has taken social media by storm. Let's go behind the post to see what all the buzz on social media is about.
Hey everyone, I'm Treasure Wilson and welcome back to another edition of Behind the Post. We are your go-to source for the Canes on social media. And let me tell you, the Hurricanes are on fire. Canes hoops really brought the heat and left no mercy on the court at the ACC tournaments this week. The Hurricanes beat Pittsburgh and Clemson. They broke a record and became the first 13 seed to ever reach the quarterfinals. Now, the Canes did fall to Georgia Tech, but it's always comeback season. And next year, the Canes can run it back. As basketball comes to an end, Canes baseball is geared up for a weekend full of games, but one special player is receiving a lot of recognition. Adrian Del Castillo is on the watch list for the Buster Posey Award. He's being looked at as one of the top hitters in America, so make sure to keep an eye out for him as the season progresses. Taking a step back to earlier this week, the women's basketball team showed love to each other for International Women's Day. They tweeted their appreciation for the players and the coaches. The tweet reads, "Proud to celebrate and honor the woman in our circle." And while the girls consistently show who's boss, the guys are prepping for football season. They started spring practices alongside new coaches and transfer students. Canes football posted pictures with the caption, "The guys have been putting in work," and the Canes are set to put on the pads next week. But current Canes are not the only ones putting on for social media. Former Canes standout Brevin Jordan has been showing off his freakish athletic ability on Twitter, posting videos from his mock combine where Jordan showed off his speed and agility. He ran a sub-4.5 40. Looking like this Cane can be a steal in the upcoming NFL draft. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I'll see y'all next week. Back to you guys at the desk.
With spring practice beginning next week, Manny Diaz and Rhett Lashley met with the media this morning for the first time in a month. With the pandemic still ongoing, there are plenty of question marks within the program, especially with the injury to starting QB De'Aaron King.
And De'Aaron is just doing De'Aaron King things in the training room with his rehab. He's smashing every benchmark and every goal that they put in front of him to the point where we almost have to slow him down. But it's been fun to see him, back moving around and being with our guys. That's what's cool about spring is it's about us. It's not about getting ready to go play somebody in a few weeks. We're excited. We get to go against our defense. And I think the biggest thing that you would hope to get in year two in general is just more consistency.
With King's sidelined for the spring, Miami will get a look at their young QBs during their 15 spring practices. For now, the team is aiming for their spring game on April 17th with no fans in the stands.
Tonight, Canes volleyball was set to take on the Syracuse Orange here in Coral Gables, continuing their hybrid fall-spring season. But a coronavirus outbreak put tonight's match on hold. Lead reporter Maxwell Trink is live outside the James L. Knight Sports Complex. Max, what happened?
Well, Tommy, this postponement stems back to this past Sunday when the Clemson Tigers took on the Syracuse Orange. Clemson ended up having a positive COVID test within their programming, forcing the Syracuse Orange to go into contact tracing, and from that point, this game got postponed. Now the Miami Hurricanes take on the Virginia Cavaliers in a weekend set here at the James L. Sports Knight Complex. And the Miami Hurricanes really looking forward to this big series. But our very own Tyler Walsh is in the studio now talking to Angela Grieve in this week's edition of Athlete of the Week.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to this week's edition of Athlete of the Week. I am here with women's volleyball player Angela Grieve. Angela, thank you so much for joining us today.
Of course.
Unfortunately, you had an injury last year, kind of set you back. Talk to me about that experience. What did it mean for you and how did you grow from it?
Yeah, I grew a lot from it. It was actually kind of nice that it was my first semester and my first season. So I kind of got to watch it from an outsider's perspective. So I knew what the coaches were looking for in games and what they were looking for in film, practice, and everything. But yeah, I grew a lot from it. I learned how to manage my body. I can listen to my body better now.
Your boyfriend right now is stationed in the Navy. Obviously, very tough experience for you. How has this experience been? And, have you been able to talk to him?
Yes, I get to talk to him for about 10 minutes a day. We call on WhatsApp, but right now he's actually on deployment, so I won't be able to talk to him for about 30 days.
Wow, that's very tough. And do you think, what's something good that's come out of this, would you say, being away from him that long? Talk about maybe the positive.
A positive would be I'm just more focused on my school and volleyball and not really focused on what he's doing because I have no idea what he's doing.
So you're very into country music, I've heard. You listen to it a lot. Who's your hottest country artist? You're playing them nonstop on your playlists right now.
Mm-hmm. Right now, I'm really obsessed with Parker McCollum because he looks like my boyfriend and also he has the best voice. But I've always been a huge fan of Thomas Rhett and just love him. He's such a great guy, and if I had to go to a concert, I would go right now.
Well, Angela, thank you so much for chatting with us today. That's been this week's edition of Athlete of the Week. Guys, back to you at the desk.
Still ahead on SportsDesk, one Hurricanes football fan is tackling one of life's biggest fights. We'll share his story when we return.
Dad, they took over my bedroom. Come on, come on. Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. Dad! You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
The NCAA Indoor Track and Field Championships are currently underway with 4 Hurricanes in attendance. Senior Debbie Ajagbe tossed herself into the 12th spot yesterday in the women's weight throw competition. Randall Tyson, Tiara McMinn, and Alfreda Steele will all look to make their mark today in their respective races as championship action continues.
Earlier this week, Miami's Deputy Director of Athletics, Jennifer Strawley, won the Women's Basketball Coaches Association's Administrator of the Year award. The award is given out annually by the WBCA to recognize an administrator who acts as a professional role model for student athletes, as well as encourages the growth and quality of women's basketball and athletics. Strawley has played an important role in the development of Miami's own annual celebration for women's athletics.
Hurricanes men's basketball started this week on fire, and former Canes hoop star Lonnie Walker IV continues to bring the heat in the pros. Let's head out to the American Airlines Center in Dallas for this week's Play of the Day. Spurs taking on the Mavericks. Here he is, Lonnie Walker IV from Reading, putting some English on it. Count the hoop plus the harm. Lonnie Skywalker using the force to flip this one home. Lonnie using his lessons from Master Yoda wisely. Look at this, flying in the air, just circling it up through the hoop. Lonnie would finish with 12, but the Spurs would fall short 115 to 104, and that is your Play of the Day.
From pro Canes to young Canes, Manny Diaz made sure to finish today's press conference with a special shout out to one brave young Canes fan named Luca. Luca is battling leukemia, and after the hashtag #GetLucaToTheU began trending on Twitter this week, and the hashtag eventually made its way to Coach Manny Diaz.
I just want to send a little love if I can. We've got a little Hurricane named Luca who's going through a courageous battle right now with leukemia. And the one thing we tell our guys on our team is that any tough battles we go through, you never go through them alone. We fight everything as a team. It's kind of the way we sort of build our culture here. And we just want to send for everybody here in this program to let Luca know that he doesn't have to fight his battle alone. He's got all the U Nation behind him, and certainly everybody in our football programs behind him. And we got a little something coming his way to show a little the love and support that we have for him. So just wanted to send that out there.
Wow, what a special, powering message from Manny Diaz. You don't see that all the time, Tommy. He could have just gone about his day, but he took the time to be thoughtful, make a comment, and then also send him a nice little gift.
Hope that Luca gets his gift soon and that he's recovering well.
It'd be really cool, too. I know football season's a long way away, but if the Hurricanes could do something, especially if fans are allowed in the stands at full capacity, if they could have Luca run out on the field and get the team going out of the smoke.
That would be an absolutely magical moment to see. Hopefully, he continues to fight and continue to make it to hopefully that home season game next year.
Well, that's all the time we have for SportsDesk this week.
Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week for another episode of SportsDesk.
Have a good night and stay safe.